JM.
Hey, good morning. It's Thursday, February 1st. Oh my gosh, it's going to be hard not to write January on things. But now you can write February. Mix of sun and clouds today, high 45. We're looking at cloudy skies tonight with a low down to 33. Right now, let's find out what's happening in the news. WSJM News brought to you by our friends at Cornerstone Alliance. See gomichigan.com, Cornerstone Alliance.
WSJM News now. Team coverage from the WSJM newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
In the WSJM newsroom, I'm Ken Lundberg. Good morning. Happy Thursday. Love Thursday. Benton Harbor City Commissioners have authorized nearly $8 million in street work for 2024. At their meeting this week, commissioners approved 3 projects. The projects include reconstruction of Green and Edwards Avenues, May and Monroe Streets, and Jefferson Street. Speaking at the Monday meeting, Commissioner Juanita Henry said she wants to be sure city residents are employed as part of these projects before proceeding.
So I'm asking through the chair that staff really verifies the address of the Benton Harbor residents that work for these companies. Is it 49022? That could be Benton Township. That could be almost Sodas.
Henry voted for 2 of the projects, but voted no on the Jefferson resurfacing. The Green and Edwards Avenue projects will include sewer and sidewalk work and will cost about $2.3 million. The May and Monroe project will include the same features and cost $5.3 million. The Jefferson work will be a modest project, about $192,000. All 3 expected to be started this spring and finished this summer. The Michigan Supreme Court has declined to hear an appeal of a Michigan Court of Appeals decision on a lawsuit brought against Berrien County over the rejection of a recall effort at Lakeshore Public Schools. WSJM's Andrew Green has this report.
The group We the Parents had attempted to recall former Lakeshore School Board President Jason Beckrow and trustee Rachel Wade over the district's masking policies in 2022. The group alleged the Berrien County Clerk's Office inappropriately declined to place the recall on an election ballot. The Clerk's Office said the recall effort didn't get enough signatures. Berrien County Judge Dennis Wiley in 2022 ruled in favor of the Clerk's Office, and the Michigan Court of Appeals later upheld the decision. The Michigan Supreme Court this week declined to take up the issue, saying only, quote, "We are not persuaded that the questions presented should be reviewed by this court." Berrien County Corporate Counsel Thaddeus Hackworth told us in a prepared statement the county is, quote, "pleased with the Supreme Court's decision, which confirms that the Berrien County Clerk's Office acted appropriately in preserving election integrity and upholds the Court of Appeals decision, which provides much needed clarity to county clerks across the state. It is unlikely the case will go any further." Andrew Green, WSJM News.
And a covert man is facing charges after a Southwest enforcement team raid on Tuesday. Sweat says it searched a home in the 73,000 block of 34th Avenue in Covert, finding more than 60 grams of suspected fentanyl, 100 grams of suspected cocaine, 28 grams of crack, and 3 firearms. It says half of the fentanyl was in the form of counterfeit oxycodone pills. The 26-year-old suspect is charged with possession with intent to deliver more than 50 grams of fentanyl, cocaine, and crack cocaine. The Van Buren County Prosecutor's Office may seek additional charges. Sweat says Southwest Michigan loses nearly twice as many lives to fatal drug overdoses as it does to car crashes every year. It asks anyone in need of treatment to call the Southwest Michigan Behavioral Health Center. Also, keep your eyes in the sky if you're going to Detroit. Probably not going to see Air Force One here today, but we are going to have the president joining folks in Michigan in Detroit later on this afternoon. The president is set to hold a political event later today in the Detroit area. President Joe Biden expected to arrive around 1:30 this afternoon, meet with United Auto Workers and local Democrats at 3:45, and then he's got to get back to the East Coast. He's going back to Pennsylvania by 7:30 this evening. So quick whirlwind trip.
Wow, that's a quick trip.
But he's coming in, going to say hi to Michigan and take off.
Nice.
In the WSJM newsroom, I'm Ken Lundberg.
We'll catch up with sports in just a few minutes. Right now, let's find out what's happening around the nation and the world with ABC News.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. The House of Representatives passing a bill.
Quick and easy trip.
I wish you would do a flyover of Southwest Michigan.
Just do a big old loop.
Why not?
A little curve.
Yeah. I mean, I know it causes a lot of problems for all the airspace they have to close down and everything else, but
yeah, I don't
it's
think
always fun to see Air Force One.
I think it'd be a little crazy if all of a sudden Air Force One's flying low enough that I can see it.
Oh, it's cool.
And notice it.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we're just gonna just going to fly
Just gonna
about
buzz.
10,000 feet, 5,000 feet. We're just going to get down to about, 2,000 feet right above Southwest Michigan. Probably not a wise idea.
The Secret Service people would just be going crazy.
Nope. Yeah,
Yeah.
they say absolutely not to that. But I always wondered with certain flights and things.
Yeah.
Like, why with the funniest one is every time I've flown to Memphis, Tennessee, they're like, yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to fly you to Atlanta.
Oh, I hate that.
And then take you to Memphis.
Yeah.
And it's like, but I'm literally flying over the destination to come back to it. I always thought that was weird.
It's a problem with air travel. And remember, air travel it's just simply buses in the sky.
Right.
That's what it is buses in the sky.
Yeah, but
you would
buses choose the least amount of miles.
Exactly.
Driven.
You would never get on a bus here to go to St. Joe and stop by way of Eau Claire.
Right.
It's just ridiculous.
Like, hey, I know you only need to go about 6 towns away, but we're going to take you to Chicago.
You don't
and then
need
we're just
to take me all this
back.
way. Yeah.
No, you're flying to South. You're going to South, driving to South Bend, but we're just going to take you to Gary and then pop you over.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's always been weird to me.
It's very odd.
How's everybody doing this morning? We've got a good morning to Bill.
Oh, yeah. Bill. Hello, Bill.
Good morning, Diane.
Diane right there.
And then good morning, Diane from Bill. There we go.
Yes, very much so.
All right. All righty. Always Learning with Barry and Risa happening here in just a moment. We'll have Fred Upton stopping by a little bit later after 7:30.
And in case you didn't hear, Johnny was kind enough to bring peanut butter cups yesterday.
I did. How'd you like them?
Thank you again. Loved them.
Yeah.
Loved them. Delicious. I saved the two that I left with here.
They actually made it home.
They made it home.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I withheld because I wanted to just stir them up in my overnight oats.
There you go.
That would have been fun, but I did not do that. They're in the refrigerator. I'm going to eat them tonight.
Ooh.
Yeah. I'm going to share.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to share with
So you
Stephanie.
didn't eat them yesterday?
No, I withheld.
How did you do that?
Because
you already had the one?
I had the one today.
Because yesterday, your willpower was not very strong.
Hey,
because
come on.
You said, you looked over after having the one and you said, is it okay if I have another one?
No. What happened was you said, go ahead. No, eat them all. And I'm like, well, okay. Maybe
I think I'm going to have another one. And I was like, well,
I was
take
testing
them
to see
all.
if you were serious about that.
I said, take them all. Take the last two. I said, and make sure you get them home. Have Stephanie try one.
Yeah. So Stephanie's going to have one. I'm going to have one tonight.
You're going to make it a thing.
Well, you said there were 2,000
candles.
Calories a piece.
No, they're not. No, it's just basic peanut butter and chocolate chips. Nothing special.
Basic peanut butter and chocolate chips.
Yep. All right.
Friend of mine posting on social media last night that she lost her job.
Oh, man.
Yeah, this is part of that Messenger layoff. Did you see that?
No.
The Messenger was a new, relatively new, very new online publication.
Okay.
And they were spending upwards of $50 million to hire a whole bunch of journalists.
Okay. And there's probably a big batch of them to get from because a lot of places were letting go of their journalists.
And they're still letting go. Yeah, and they're still letting go. But this place, it came like all of a sudden.
Man.
Yeah, I think, let's see. I saw one report where, the news startup, The Messenger, launched with $50 million in funding last May. So they didn't even make it a year. And they now have shut down their operations. I went to their website last night, and all it says was The Messenger and an email. That's it. No content whatsoever.
Man.
Yeah.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, they were apparently losing tens of millions of dollars. They only brought in around $3 million in revenue last year.
Okay.
It was originally projected $100 million in revenue for this year. And they didn't make it past January.
That's rough, man.
That is rough.
I would always be, starting your own business, that's always hard. But I think what's even a little more nerve-wracking is joining a company that's just starting out.
Takes a leap of faith.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You know there's risks involved. You know there's the possibility that this all just falls apart. But that's a bummer.
The owner says he had a memo that he sent to staff saying he's personally devastated to share we've made the painfully hard decision to shut down the Messenger effective immediately. Over the past few weeks, literally until earlier today, we exhausted every option available. We've endeavored to raise sufficient capital to reach profitability. Unfortunately, blah, 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 not going to happen.
Don't they know the phrase "Don't kill the messenger"? So what were they
They
thinking?
killed it.
They killed it.
They killed it.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, they were one of those that was hoping to be what they say a balanced and accurate journalism outlet at the center. Now they're gone.
Which great idea.
Sure.
Makes total sense. It
Doesn't
just
make money.
I didn't know that it existed, so they obviously didn't do the marketing side of things.
Yeah.
To get the word out, because that'd be something I'm sure a lot of people would like to read.
Sure.
And get that. Oh, this is middle of the road. This is going to give me this just straight facts. All right.
Mm-hmm.
You see this woman that almost got squished by a garbage truck?
No. Oh, no.
She's over in New Hampshire. That's probably one of my biggest fears.
New Hampshire?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Everything's bigger in New Hampshire. But this woman fell into a dumpster. She was taking out the trash. And before she could climb out, a garbage truck picked it up, emptied the contents, including her, into the back of their truck. And then what does the truck usually do?
Compact.
It squishes everything, so it makes room for the next thing of trash that they're picking up.
Oh, no.
This reminds me, this is very much Star Wars.
It is.
Getting squished thing.
That sounds fishy, though. I'm taking out the trash. I fall into the dumpster.
Right.
And I can't get out by the time the trash man gets there.
Well, you never fallen into a dumpster?
No.
It's our water guy.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if anybody's going to answer the door. We might have to go do that. But yeah, the truck squished the trash and the lady at least 4 times before somebody finally heard all of the screaming and yelling that she was doing.
Wow.
So yeah, she made it out. Just a few scratches.
Bill says that's from a movie.
Yeah, Star Wars. There's the scene in Star Wars where they're being crushed, and then there's a couple other ones that people almost get crushed by stuff.
Yeah. Speaking of Star Wars, did you see or did you hear that Princess Leia, Carrie Fisher, Princess Leia was almost Jodie Foster?
I did hear that.
Yeah.
She turned it down, right?
She turned it down. Yeah.
How old would she have been in that?
I don't know.
Because Jodie Foster's younger than Carrie Fisher.
She said they were going for a younger Princess Leia.
Okay.
But I had a conflict. And so that's why they went with Carrie Fisher. Can you imagine Jodie Foster as Princess Leia?
I could.
It would have been very different. Would have felt very.
Yeah, there's a lot of
different.
those actors that turn down major roles.
Oh yeah.
I always love looking at those lists, but you start to wonder, like, would the franchise have really become a franchise, or would it have just been a one-off movie?
Yeah, it could have been.
I mean, at that time, I'm trying to think, at that time when that movie came out,
1977.
Yeah, when that came out, who was more popular, Carrie Fisher or Jodie Foster?
I would imagine Jodie Foster.
What did she do at that time?
Turned down a movie? No, I don't know. Let's see. Jodie
Taxi
Foster.
Driver, she was in that.
Oh, that was fabulous.
But she was a kid in that one.
She was.
When was that out?
I don't know. I can't remember. Great movie.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, and Carrie Fisher hadn't really done a whole bunch of stuff either.
Okay, because she had Jodie Foster had a teen career. She was in a bunch of Disney films.
Yep. Freaky Friday.
She was in Freaky Friday.
Great movie.
She was in Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore in 1974. 1976 was Taxi Driver.
Okay, so she was flying high.
Yeah, she was doing
around
great.
the time of filming. Yeah.
Other early films: Tom Sawyer, Bugsy Malone, Little Girl Who Lives Down the Lane, Carney, and Foxes. Yeah,
Okay.
I haven't seen those, but yeah, it would have been a different film.
Yeah. Yeah, it would have been. I mean, I think the Han Solo character, that was like a last minute. They think Harrison Ford was one of the last ones that they were like, I guess we'll go with Harrison Ford.
But how crazy? I'll keep it quick. How crazy is it that she was in Disney films, and now Disney owns the Star Wars thing?
Yeah,
full circle.
That is true. I gotta look because I know there's at least one of the Freaky Fridays. I have not seen the Jodie Foster Freaky Friday on Disney Plus. So I'll have to look and see because I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah.
There's been like 4 Freaky Friday movies over the years. That one's remade more than
Parent Trap
or the Miracle on 34th Street. So yeah, that one.
Those are
I'm
fun.
not sure if that one's on there. I believe the one with Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis, that one's on there.
Yeah.
But
I don't have Disney Plus.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, Freaky Friday, that classic one. I think I watched that when I was in elementary school. Teacher was like, "We're gonna watch Freaky Friday," and I was like, "Oh man!" Like, oh my gosh, that's Jodie Foster.
Yeah,
that was like 1974 that came out.
Which one?
The Freaky Friday?
Yeah, probably.
Dang. That's crazy. You don't remember the one you just read?
No, I thought you were talking about Taxi Driver. That was 1976.
76.
That's the one we were looking for. Yeah.
What did I watch the other day? I've been watching Chicago Fire. And I don't know about you guys, but the TV shows on network television, I was talking about this earlier, way too long. 20, I don't know, I think it's like 22 or 26 episodes.
Jeez.
Of the first season. And I guess they thought it was going to be successful, but I like the British model of television. They do most of their shows have probably 8 to 10 episodes, maybe sometimes 6 episodes. Some people argue that's too short, but I think they're just right because what they'll do is the episodes will be about an hour long. So much better than the like 30 minutes or 40 minutes that they do for Chicago Fire and all those other shows. But I'm still in the first season. I'm stuck in the first season and I'm looking this up. 12 seasons of Chicago Fire already. 12 seasons.
Do they each have that many episodes?
I sure hope not.
Wow.
Because man, that is too much television.
It sounds like you're just trying to get through them. Are you just watching them to watch them?
I'm watching them to enjoy the story, but I'm starting to get fatigued with the amount of episodes that there are. Yeah, there's 24 episodes. So I'm almost done. I think I just finished episode 22.
How many fires do they have in Chicago?
Oh, a ton, man.
Yeah.
There's fires, there's car accidents,
oh, no.
There's accidents inside of buildings that aren't fires. That they need the firemen's in.
Wow.
There's all kinds of stuff. It's a good show.
Yeah.
What I enjoy the most is there's one actor on there that was on that show House, and he's an Australian actor.
Yeah.
And he does a perfect, just basic American accent.
The guy who plays House?
No, not the House guy. He was one of the other doctors, younger guy.
Oh.
He was Australian. He had an Australian accent, I believe, in that one. House.
He did.
But in Chicago Fire, he's got a Midwestern,
Oh.
Not quite Chicago, but a sort of a Midwestern basic accent.
Jesse Spencer?
Sure. That guy, yeah.
Okay.
Good looking guy.
Sure.
Yeah, he's one of the
yeah, he's
very chiseled features.
Yeah, he was the guy.
Yeah, he's
Australian American actor and musician. He's a musician.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. He says he sings better than you.
That's true. That's probably true.
It's probably not true. He's an actor.
Bill says, if a show is good, it is never too long. But the ones that suck keep going forever. That's true. That definitely true. I'm more of a 10 to 12. Somewhere, if you go 12, that's okay. Like always, Only Murders in the Building, I think too short.
I don't know. I think they
only
jumped
go
the
like
shark in that season.
Really?
Yeah.
The last season?
Yeah.
You finished it?
No.
Oh,
because it's just like,
well, you got to finish it.
All right.
I will say that in Only Murders in the Building, I feel like they're not jumping the shark. I feel like they are kind of getting repetitive in their formula.
Oh, okay.
Before the first season and even the second season, it was always, oh my gosh, I have no idea what's going on, who the killer is, so many twists and turns.
Who's going to get nailed for it?
Who is gonna? Yeah,
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, there's so many surprises. This last one, I was like, yeah, I feel like I know who it is.
Were you right?
No.
Oh, okay. So it was a surprise.
So, yeah.
So Steve Martin did it.
Right.
Yeah.
No.
He's the serial killer.
No, definitely
Good.
not.
All right.
Steve Martin and Martin Short, fantastic. But I think what makes the show is Selena Gomez.
She's great.
Having
Love
the
her.
three together,
Yeah.
the two guys, they've always been good together.
Yeah.
But I think adding her to the mix totally changed the way that relationship works. And they love working with her. So much so that Steve Martin said, this is the last thing I'm going to do. He said he's throwing in the towel, calling it a career once that show is all said and done, which I'm not sure when that show will be
Didn't
done.
you have another movie for him to do?
I want Grandfather of the Bride.
Yeah.
I want that to happen. If he can make Grandfather, it doesn't even need to be a movie.
Oh.
I know during the pandemic they did Father of the Bride Part 3, and it was where the son was getting married.
Oh.
So he's not father of the bride, he's father of the groom. And so they did that like a quick table read kind of thing on Zoom during the pandemic. But I would love to see Grandfather of the Bride and bring back all the actors that you can. And I think it'd be great.
How about as an alternative, he could go on a speaking tour, call it Grandfather of the Bride.
Oh.
And just do a solo man on stage monologue thing.
That'd be fun.
He could either do the monologue or, like, remember Bruce Springsteen was going around doing that. Do that.
He did a 2-man show with Martin Short.
Did he?
Yeah, recently.
Was it like that?
Yeah, they told stories, made fun of each other.
Yeah, I think I like that. I want to see more of that.
They did some things. He played the banjo. Martin
He is
Short,
so good
Martin
at the
Short
banjo.
sang.
I have a Steve Martin album where he plays the banjo.
They say he just kind of picked it up at one point in his career, and a lot of people will say he's one of the best banjo players in the world.
Jeez. He's very talented.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that you hate because he's so talented. Yeah, it's ridiculous how talented Steve Martin is.
If you have anything you want us to talk with Fred Upton about.
Oh yeah, Fred Upton's coming by.
Put it in the comments
here in just a few minutes. We'll keep our eyes on the clock here and on the security cameras.
What clock?
Yeah,
what clock?
The clock.
We have a clock. There's a clock.
You'll notice when guests come in, Ken does not realize his concept of time just dwindles away. We got time. We got time for another one. We got time for another question. Yeah, it's already tomorrow. We've already moved into the next day.
It's a leap year. That means I have extra time. Yeah.
Okay.
And the groundhog. Wilbur the Wolverine makes his appearance tomorrow.
It's like when a moth has a light, his navigational beacon of what time it is goes away. Somebody flip the light on. So maybe we'll do the interview in the dark, and we'll see how that works out for us. All right. So we're Bloomberg Market Minute going to happen right now. We'll do a check-in on what's going with the news, and then hopefully Fred will be here right around 7:30, and then we'll get some. I did. I moved some things around so that we had more time with Fred.
That's fantastic.
So I'm sticking you to it a certain time. All right.
Fantastic.
All right. Let's check in on the time when we got to move on.
Okay.
All right. Bloomberg Market Minute now.
Dylan, the Fed is shifting its focus to when to start cutting interest rates, but it's clear that policymakers are not in a hurry to do it. Chair Jay Powell said officials would move patiently, and he threw cold water on speculation that rate cuts would start in March. And yesterday, with Fed Decision Day, we saw stocks sliding on Wall Street. Declines ranged from 0.8% to around 2.25%. And now you can travel like a royal if you can afford it. The sapphire dark blue Range Rover that was used by the late Queen Elizabeth but the second is up for sale. The price tag is $285,000. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
The Morning Show with Jonny and Ken on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
Hey, good morning. Getting close to 7:30, and today we're dealing with some sun and clouds, and it should be pretty decent. High 45, cloudy tonight with a low down to 33. Then looking ahead to Friday, the sun might actually come out. I know a lot of people probably wondering, hey, where the heck is that sun? But a high of 44 on Friday.
Beautiful.
We'll have Fred Upton coming by here in just a little bit. We think, we have not confirmed this. We think there's a possibility he's in the parking lot right now, and he's probably listening. Oh, he just flashed his lights. It could be him. All right, so let's get a check on what's happening in the news this morning.
WSJM News Now. Team coverage from the WSJM Newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
In the WSJM Newsroom, I'm Ken Lundberg. Here are some of the local stories that we're looking at today. In Michigan, over in Detroit, President Joe Biden set to hold a political event later today. The president is expected to arrive around 1:30 this afternoon, meet with United Auto Workers and local Democrats around 3:45 p.m., and then leave for Pennsylvania by 7:30 this evening. So if you're in the Detroit area, take a look around those times, see if you can see the president's motorcade. 3 Benton Harbor men have been sentenced in a federal gun case. U.S. Attorney Mark Totten says 26-year-old Mark Curtis has been sentenced to 15 years, 22-year-old Jordan Allen has been sentenced to 8 years, and 25-year-old Calvin Hill has been sentenced to 46 months in prison after being convicted by a jury this week. Each was found guilty of being a felon in possession of a firearm. Witnesses at trial testified Hill was feuding with another Benton Harbor area man on the night of September 10th, 2023. Curtis, Hill, and Allen met at Hill's apartment. Investigators found pictures and videos of their guns on Hill's kitchen table. The man that Hill was feuding with was found dead the next morning of gunshot wounds. The Benton Harbor Department of Public Safety worked with the FBI, the Berrien County Sheriff's Department, Michigan State Police, and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives on the investigation. Totten says gun violence is an epidemic in Michigan and across the country. And Dr. Z's Mattress Center, the last store in Orchards Mall, is closing again. Store owner Norbert Zimfer tells us that the business was closed for nearly a year after some flooding that happened in the mall back in the winter of 2022 and 23. It just recently reopened so that Zimfer can sell off the remaining inventory. He tells us he's not thinking of reopening to another location. He says he's just going to enjoy some time with family after he gets rid of his current inventory and closes down for good. In the WSJM Newsroom, I'm Ken Lundberg, joined by former Congressman Fred Upton, who's in the house.
What's up, Fred?
Man, you guys, now I know why. I was listening to you guys. Oh, we think his car just pulled up in the driveway. Behind me, I see the videotape, so you can video cameras. So
we got the fancy cameras. We'll talk to you in a couple minutes.
I figured it was you. I was like, I bet Fred's sitting right. I bet he's listening to us right now. It's kind of weird that this is...
I always listen to you guys.
Oh, thank you, Fred. All right, we'll chat with you in just a moment. We'll check in on sports and also ABC News. But right now, let's find out what's happening around the state.
The Michigan News Network.
I'm Beth Fisher. President Joe Biden will be in Metro Detroit today, his first visit since joining striking auto workers on the picket line in September. The president's visit comes
All right.
Good to see you. Good. How are you doing, sir?
Good. Really well.
Enjoying winter?
Yeah. Well, I went skiing for a couple weeks.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Utah. So I'm my sister's there now. My dad bought this place in '82. So we've been going skiing in Utah for 40 years.
Very cool. Very cool.
Are we back on the stream?
Yeah, we're hanging out on the stream yard.
Okay, so we're back on.
All right.
Yeah. You got a catalog over there? You got the
I
LMC
got
catalog?
my, it just happened to come in the mail.
That came in the mail for me yesterday. So what timing? Perfect timing.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, that was nice to take a look at. See some of the latest updates.
So for those people who are watching on our live stream, this is the back end of the show.
Yep.
It doesn't happen. Yeah. And so we're going to talk about LMC for a little bit with you in a couple minutes. But we got a lot of other things going on.
It's a busy time.
Yeah.
And we got another shutdown looming. It's just crazy back there in D.C. It's good to be home.
Yeah, I bet. I bet. President Joe Biden coming over here.
He's
to
coming. Yeah,
Detroit
no,
anyway.
Yeah, I presume it's the southeast side of the state.
Yeah, he's just going to be in
Yeah.
Detroit. And I found out because Johnny was asking me, where's the president going to be landing?
Yeah, what airport is he going
Usually,
to?
It's a
I
National
went-
Guard. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, usually he goes to Detroit Metro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So,
I've
makes sense.
landed with Reagan at Selfridge once. I think.
Okay.
yeah, he's going to be at, let's see, yeah, Selfridge.
Selfridge.
Okay.
Yeah, he's using Selfridge over there, the National Guard Air Base or National Guard Base.
Yeah.
He'll go to his, so he lands around 1:35.
I
Does
wonder
his-
if Debbie Dingle's going to go with him. I'll send her a little note.
Yeah, see if she's going to go. See who else. Find out from who on the Michigan delegation is flying
They'll
back.
invite. They'll probably invite up, but the House has votes today.
Oh, so they may not be able to go,
So
or maybe
they'll
they'll pause the votes.
No,
Yeah,
I
guys.
don't think Speaker Johnson would do that.
There's a
He
couple
needs-
people that are going to
He
be on the
needs
gentlemanly
slate.
every
agreement
vote.
there.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think they don't. Yeah, that doesn't happen. Now, in the past, during COVID, they had the proxy voting, but that's no longer.
Oh, we have silence.
Oh,
Why
It
do we have
wasn't
silence?
me. I have no idea.
Okay.
Maybe something froze in the Michigan News Network.
Is there? Can you give us a little insight of what happens when a president decides to travel to someone's state with the members of Congress? What typically happens?
So I went with when Biden came to the auto show in September of 22.
Mhm.
Right? Yeah, I went with him.
Okay.
'Cause
I mean,
I
does the-
wasn't. Yeah, so it was a day trip.
Yeah.
And I got I can show you a picture. I'll find it here. Let me just ask Debbie. But yeah, they invite, or when Trump comes, usually they invite the members of the delegation,
Sure.
particularly the same party.
Mhm.
This was a non-political event, so I was included, and I was on the auto caucus and
Mhm.
helped with the CHIPS legislation, which was
Sure.
terribly important to the industry. So Mary Barra gave me a bear hug.
Oh.
Thanks so much for the CHIPS. I mean, and we saw just hundreds and maybe thousands of vehicles that they couldn't finish because
Right.
they didn't have the
They're
chips.
just
I mean,
sitting.
Fords. I mean, we went past, just motorcade happened to go
Yep.
by just a huge parking lot with all
Oh.
these Ford 150 pickups.
Mhm.
Just waiting for chips.
Yeah,
to come
because
in.
it's the little thing on your mirror.
Yeah.
I mean, all the different
Right.
things that chips have.
Yeah.
And then
So-
they I think in some cases they got tired of waiting, and so they just would ship them to the dealerships and said, "All right, well,
Wait for the chip.
you're not going to be able to have heated seats, or you're not going to be able to have this little function, but once we get the chip in, we'll put that in your car."
I'm gonna pull this picture up. I gotta just go to the.
Yeah. So if the president announces they're going to go to a state in the congressional delegation, like Fred said,
Yeah, now
the
if
same
it's
parties.
of this the political, they'll invite the members of the same
Yep.
party
Yeah.
for sure.
and they get to ride down, and it's kind of cool to ride on Air Force
Yeah.
One,
It is.
isn't it?
It is.
I
I,
mean,
was
they-
actually the first member to ever go with Obama on Air Force One after he was elected.
Oh,
He came to South Bend,
okay.
so I went with Joe Donnelly.
Okay.
And we had a ball. He had never been on it, and I'd been on it a number of times. So I sort of took him on a little tour, and I
Yeah.
said, "Now, where's that little special plane that's underneath? Remember the movie?" Of course, there's not. There's
Right.
not one.
Yeah.
He-
Wink, wink.
Yeah.
We know there's a special pod on
See
there
here,
somewhere.
Haley Stevens. So
Oh,
you had to
yeah.
go you have to go out to the Air Force Base.
Oh, cool.
Andrew. So here's the auto show. I like this because it was,
Oh man. Oh, look at that. That's pretty. Oh, that's the
Ghostbusters,
Ghostbusters
yeah.
car. Okay.
Let's see,
The
speaking
Ghostbusters car? Oh, in a car show.
At the auto
Okay.
show,
Okay.
yeah.
Little grandson.
But there's
He's
Fred
playing
and Fred.
Froggy. You're not supposed to take pictures,
Oh
but I
man,
said,
that is cool.
I gotta get a picture of you.
Yeah.
My sunglasses.
You have to
I
send me
know
that
you
one.
might- no, I don't know if they want me to. So
That is so
then
cool.
I said, Amy hates these sunglasses that I have. They're my favorite ones. So then I
Look at
put
that
the other
tie.
ones. That's my favorite.
Okay.
And then I got the whole delegation.
Because they've got a
Put on
conference room.
sunglasses. See, Debbie Stabenow, 11.
Wow.
We got- he's the EPA administrator. He came. So
That is something
Oh.
else.
Debbie put herself.
We getting ready?
Yep.
Right.
Okay. All right, so we'll start with LMC.
Yeah.
And then maybe we'll talk a little bit about what you're seeing in the presidential.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wonderful. All right.
A mix of the sun and clouds expected today. This afternoon will hit 45 degrees. Winds will stay light out of the southwest. Partly cloudy tonight, we drop down to 33. And then for tomorrow, partly sunny. High temperatures around 40 degrees. On Saturday and Sunday, we'll be in the mid-40s with lots of sunshine. I'm WSBT 22 Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Jonny and Ken on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
Hey, good morning. You can be part of the show anytime. See, I told you when you have guests in, I have to say, here we go, or nobody pays attention to me. You can be part of the show anytime. You can call 925-WSJM. You can email letstalk@WSJM.com. Or you can stop by here in the parking lot and listen to us wonder if you're the one sitting in the parking lot in your car, much like Fred Upton. Fred, was that weird to be in the
I said,
in
I
the
guess I
parking
gotta
lot?
go in. I guess I gotta go ring the buzzer.
Is that Fred? Were you talking to your radio like, yes, it's me. I'm here.
Yeah.
I made it.
I'm on my way.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, it's great to have you, former Congressman Fred Upton. Good to have you. How have you been? What's new?
I'm doing great. I mean, it's I got all the snow off the driveway. I don't have to. Yeah, I'm just wondering. I bought a snowblower a few years ago, and I couldn't get it started back in December because it sat in the garage.
Yeah.
And now I don't know if and I wasn't here for the big snowfall.
Yeah.
And now I'm wondering if we're going to get any more snow the rest of the year. I feel sorry for the folks up at Boeing Mountain.
Right.
Yeah.
But how am I going to start it next year if I couldn't start it this year?
You may just put a for sale sign on that thing.
No. It's got, I make a joke about this, but I bought it for myself. I can hit the house next door as the house next door can hit my house. I mean, it's a powerful little deal. It's got a headlight on it. It has electric start.
Has it got like the canopy that you can go inside there?
No. But it pulls you. It's got chains on the tires and stuff. And anyway, when I got it, I put a wreath on it and I told Amy, I said, "This is for you." Smack. I know.
Nice.
No, I love it. I love the thing, but now I can't get it started now. So I got to figure out, maybe we'll get snow again this season. But maybe. It doesn't seem like it.
Here's a suggestion. Maybe you put it in this Lake Michigan College Foundation auction.
No. This is my baby.
All right.
I'm gonna make sure that it works.
If you need help starting it or cleaning the spark plugs, let us know.
I'll call Tom Buckleitner. He's my house engineer.
But you're here for a couple of reasons. We want to talk to you about a couple of news things. But first, Lake Michigan College, the Lake Michigan College Foundation Student Benefit Auction 32 is coming up, and you've been involved in this in a lot of years.
I think I've gone almost every time. We might have had it's usually always on a Saturday, so maybe I've got a Lincoln Day dinner, when I was in Congress or something. But I was usually there. But this is. LMC is a jewel. I mean, you think about college. I can remember as a youngster going with my dad to some of the old buildings at LMC. But, we got our little flyer in the mail this week and Connecting to the Future. And it talks about 96% of the students who go there get some type of financial aid.
Yeah.
And this is a huge, huge event. I mean, it raises literally probably more than $100,000.
Oh, yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's a fun event. It's going to be on March 2nd.
Okay.
And it's going to be a little bit different. I think instead of a sit-down dinner, they're going to have high hors d'oeuvres, I guess. But they'll have an auction. It's black tie optional.
Yeah, you gonna wear a black tie? You gonna wear a tuxedo?
I don't know. I asked when Al Pashoka called me. I said, "Is black tie?" I said, "Well, some people wear them." I haven't decided yet.
I've gone to black tie events, and then I show up with a tux on, and then no one else is wearing a tux.
Yeah, I don't know. That's
you got to go James Bond.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see. But it's a community event, and it really does benefit the community. I mean, I've been to LMC so many times, and it really is, they're helping students, they're working with employers. And when you look at the higher education costs, when I was a student, I went to a state school, Michigan. My tuition back in the 70s was $330 a semester, not a semester hour. That's what the
whole
tuition
semester.
actually
Wow.
was
That's
for
crazy.
an in-state student.
Wow.
Now, obviously other expenses
Sure.
too, but that was the, but this is so important, and it's everybody and their sister ought to be there, and it's fun. I mean, listening to you guys earlier this morning about what's going on Valentine's Day,
Right?
the performances that are there. It really is a keystone in our community, and so let's hope we get a good crowd there, and it's because at the end of the day, it's going to help students and make sure that they're going to make their community, hopefully ours, a better place.
Yeah, since 1988, the student benefit auction, which began as the winner's circle auction, you might notice that, has raised funds to provide scholarships to students who might not otherwise be able to attend college. More than $5 million has been raised for the Scholarship Endowment Fund, with more than $200,000 in student scholarship funds available just last year.
That's fantastic. Yeah, and you'll be able to see some of the great programs too, because I saw that the wine and viticulture program going to have some great things for you to try, as well as a robust charcuterie. I did see the robust charcuterie.
So I don't know if you need to buy a drink ticket or not with the wine folks that are going to be there.
Awesome.
Yeah. Anytime the viticulture people show up, you're going to get some good wine.
But I know some of the people that have gone to the wine school, and they've just come away with, I can't believe how good this is.
Tons of knowledge.
And I wanted to do it, but we had votes.
Maybe that's something you can do.
It was
Start
like on a
taking night
Wednesday
classes.
night or something like that. I said, no, I got votes that night, but I know a lot of people that went, and it was really terrific. And of course, agriculture for this part of the district, I mean, from asparagus to apples, but it includes grapes. I mean, it's a huge thing. I mean, you look at our wineries here, and but this was something for the consumers of that wine.
Absolutely.
So it was good.
Maybe you go into the program, you start Fred wine. I think that'd be great.
I don't know. I'm happy with the other vineyards that are around.
Well, as you said, it's happening Saturday, March 2nd at the LMC Mendel Center Grand Upton Hall. It's going to be a great event. You can get your tickets and buy a table if you'd like. Get all that info by checking out lakemichigancollege.edu. So that's awesome.
Good information. How are we doing on time?
We're good.
We got a couple minutes.
We have a couple.
We do
have a couple minutes.
And I'm okay. I have a dentist appointment I won't be late for. But,
so we can keep you the full hour.
Yeah,
look at that, Johnny. We can keep you the
just
full
wait
hour.
to see my smile later on today, right?
But Fred, a lot of stuff happening. Maybe we start with presidential politics. New Hampshire primaries happened, and we saw who won that, and it's increasingly looking like it'll be another rematch between former President Donald Trump, current President Joe Biden. You're running the no labels piece. How is that coming along?
I'm a volunteer.
You're a volunteer with
and
that.
I was in New Hampshire, and I've been in a lot of states.
What's your view of the world right now, today?
Well, it's 70%. I've seen polling really since March, and it has stayed consistent. 70% of the American public does not want a rematch between these two.
So how are you going to give them an alternative?
Choice. So if it is these two, and it appears more and more likely that it is, I mean, Nikki Haley isn't even on the ballot in Nevada. I don't guess that's next week. And, she's trailing significantly in South Carolina as well before it gets to some other states.
Yeah,
like
the
Michigan
latest poll
or
number
later.
in South Carolina, Trump is at 52, Haley's at 21.
Wow.
Yeah, she's 30 points down.
30 points down in her own state.
And, both senators have endorsed Trump. Most of the, I think, congressional delegation has endorsed Trump in South Carolina. So she's got real headwinds, even though she's obviously the former governor. But for a lot of reasons, people don't want these same two to run again, to have a different choice. And I've been involved with no labels really since probably about 2015, I would say. It's been organizations have been around since about 2008. Seriously, it's been involved with issues until now. And now we're trying to see if we can get access to the ballot, just like Ross Perot did, just like number of states, and we have, a Green Party ticket, independent ticket, taxpayer ticket. New York, they have a right to life ticket. So we're looking at a no labels ticket that would just be on the presidential level, not Congress or state rep. And it would be a unity ticket with a Republican likely as at the top of the ticket and a Democrat as the vice presidential pick. And our role at this point is to really just to get every state's different. Here in Michigan, you need 47,000 signatures. In Maine, you needed 5,000. I mean, there's different rules. We're on more than a dozen states' ballots, which is exactly where we can be. I mean, some states you can't. I did a Zoom call earlier this week with folks in Wisconsin and Missouri. Wisconsin, you can't even start the process until January 1st. So, and they've started the process to get on the ballot. But our idea is that, look, if it's going to be Trump and Biden, we are going to try to get on all 50 states before late spring and offer a unity ticket, which we'll probably name in the next couple weeks. Originally, the time frame was Super Tuesday because that's when things really get locked in. But let's face it, it looks like it's going to be these two. So
I mean, if Nikki Haley were to drop out today, what would no labels be doing?
Well, she's probably would say no. She would not want to be part of this because I think she'd look towards 28.
Okay.
And this may torpedo her, even though we're one and done. We're not in this. And the candidates themselves will actually run the campaign. It won't be no labels. We'll just provide access. She's probably going to want to wait until 28, depending, of course, what happens. But it's we're vetting candidates now. We came out with a common sense agenda, sort of a platform. Anyone can find it on nolabels.org. Which we unveiled in New Hampshire in July.
And you're still looking at a Republican at the top of the ticket and a Democrat vice president.
Yep.
How did you arrive at that decision?
Well, we actually think that's we actually can do better that way. I mean, and we've got polling, so I haven't seen the most recent results. It's just out of the field now, but literally all 50 states, they polled tens of thousands of folks. The quality of individual that people are looking for. Character. I mean, again, we've got some good issues that we labeled in our common sense agenda. But at the end of the day, we think that we can win, and particularly if it's Trump and Biden, because so many people are like, what are we going to do? And there's weaknesses on both sides.
So are you using that some of that polling and that information that you're getting from the American people to see when you're doing your vetting process to kind of make those in line with what the type of person you want?
Yeah, exactly. So it's, I'm on conference calls every week, long ones, and the process is beginning to move forward. It's sort of exciting. But I'm just a volunteer, so it's.
That's what you keep saying.
But I got to tell you, there, as I look at, when you do a Zoom call, it's like Hollywood Squares, right? I mean, I got other former colleagues, I got former governors, I got some top media guys that you'd recognize. I mean, it is, I'm public about it, but not everybody is, but everyone offering advice and, it's, we'll see what happens.
You have to try the Microsoft Teams because we recently switched over to that instead of Zoom. And it's fun because you can take away the Hollywood Squares and you can put everyone on a dais. And so you've got like 3 tiers of daises, and it looks like it's Plato and Socrates and everybody else just sitting there talking to each other. It's really weird with AI.
Well, I was skiing in Utah earlier this month, and so we had the conference call. Usually they're Fridays at 3, and so I got off the slopes. It's snowing. I got my goggles on. I got some great Oakley goggles, and behind me the scene is the Golden Gate Bridge. People say, Fred, where are you?
That's great. That's fantastic. Awesome. Speaking of AI and goggles, and that leads me to think a little bit about social media. Did you watch any of the coverage from yesterday's hearing?
I watched just a tad bit, and it's, it is, I'm a parent, I'm a grandparent now. I mean, we've seen the advent of, all these different platforms as they go out there, and you really do say, where is the responsibility to make sure that vulnerable children are not subjected to some of this crap? And you hear these stories, the suicides, the drug use, how to steal a car, crime, it's just like, where is the adult in the room? And it was more than a shot across the bow. The question is, how do you write the legislation so that it's not challenged successfully is the First Amendment right or whatever as it relates to the Constitution? That's the difficult part. But I think the message was pretty well delivered. I saw some of the news shows last night, and I would guess it's going to dominate today quite a bit. And there's not a lot of time in the legislative calendar, but man, it was all hands on deck. A lot of punches thrown yesterday.
Yeah. Where does the responsibility lie? I mean, you talk about the social media companies that are putting it out there. You talk about parents and their ability to control, but how can you when it's everywhere? And then you also talk about the pipelines that make it available. I mean, where does the responsibility lie? How do you get to the root of the issue itself?
Yeah, that's the $64,000 question, but it's probably had a few more zeros to it.
Yeah. Hey, Johnny's out, so we can keep going.
Oh, yeah.
What else is intriguing you in the news these days?
Well, the president's coming. President Biden's coming to Michigan today.
That's
Obviously, it's in the tailwinds of his UAW endorsement that he got, a few days ago.
Yeah.
We were talking off camera. How does the president decide? He's not been here since
September,
a few months when he came with the striking workers.
Yep.
But it's how. So you were asking, how does he decide who goes with him?
Right.
Air Force One goes. Yeah. So it's usually
there's a lot of room on that plane.
There is, and it's I've been on Air Force. I was literally the first Republican or first member to go with Obama when he came to South Bend, within a week or two of when he was sworn in. So I actually gave him, it was fun. Of course, I knew him as a senator a little bit, but I gave him a little tour of the plane. He hadn't been on it before, and I flew with Joe Donnelly, and he was then, I think, the House member, not a senator then. Of course, now he's ambassador to the Holy See, and he and I are very good friends. But I think it was just the two of us in terms of members that were on the plane with Obama when he came, and I went with Biden when he went to the auto show back in 22 with many of the Michigan delegation. It was sort of fun. The plane takes off from Andrews, just a little story, and he's in the front compartment.
Yeah.
He came back with us, and there's like a dining room table that's runs north and south on the plane. So it's, from the nose going to the tail, and I'm sitting at the back. And so as the plane takes off, all of a sudden, everyone's coffee and donuts, they all come right to me.
They didn't spill on you, did
they?
Like
a magnet.
But it was like I had to have both arms out, and I said, now I know why I'm on this plane. All this garbage is coming my way.
Oh, that's awesome.
But, I was with Bush 41 when he came, and the Michigan delegation when he spoke at the University of Michigan. He got an honorary degree. That was 91, maybe it was. And the rest of the delegation, it was a Saturday, and the rest of the delegation, free ride back to Michigan. I said, well, I'm going to go back. I mean, you're with the leader of the free world. I mean, he invites you up to the front of the plane, right where the 747 comes together. And so we had a great time. I was the only one going back with him.
Man.
And, that was the day that he had the heart murmur. Remember, he got on a helicopter and he went to Camp David and, bingo, all of a sudden I got home and my wife goes, what'd you do to the president? Right. It was just a day trip back and forth. But yeah, it's pretty exciting time when you're with the president. You can ask him anything you want.
Sure.
At the time with Biden, King Charles had just gotten put in, and he said, they want me to call him His Highness.
Anyway, what was your advice?
I said, well, I guess he is the king. I don't. He's sort
Why
of
not?
Yeah, but it's you can ask about stuff, and again, that usually within a congressional delegation, you're pretty close. I mean, whether it's for us protecting the Great Lakes, the autos, the environment, all those things are important. We often fly together. There's no direct flight for me when I came back literally every week. So you'd fly through usually Detroit on Delta. And, that's where you catch up with everybody else. We'd all be on the same plane going back to DC and then back to, at the end of the week coming back. So, the delegation's pretty close. You're on a lot of the same committees together, and you vote, you walk over. So it's exciting to be on Air Force One from time to time.
Yeah. I know we're running out of time here.
That's the alarm going off.
The alarm going off. The
so
fries
what is
are
that?
ready.
Someone else in
that means
in the parking lot.
I've been
Fries are
told it's the fries are done, but I've never been able to find the fries in this building.
Yeah, Burger King. We're at Burger King.
We're at.
But just last question, because you're involved in this picking of the potential third candidate, is age going to be one of the factors that you look at?
We're not going to have an 80-year-old. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Is President Biden too old to run for re-election?
It's one of the charges. There's faults on both sides. From the Democratic standpoint as it relates to Biden, and on the Republican side as it relates to Trump. Lots of different issues. Yeah, age is a factor. The polls show that as well, and it's a very demanding job, 24/7, and huge challenges, particularly today in the world, not only with the conflict in the Middle East, but you've got Ukraine, and then when you add on, and I served in the Reagan White House for 4.5 years. The test is within the White House is always that reelection, and for Reagan, he won 49 states, and after dealing with a Democratic Congress, because he didn't care who got the credit, but let's move the ball down the field. We had huge issues, Berlin, the fall of the wall, with East Germany, but he won 49 states. And, I spoke at Kiwanis here earlier in the week, and, no one could remember the state that he didn't win.
What was it? I don't even remember.
Mondale's, Minnesota.
Oh, no kidding.
Oh,
But
no.
A Republican winning California today,
Yeah.
Right.
or New York,
Unheard of.
or Massachusetts.
Unthinkable.
Yeah. But
49 states.
49 states.
Well, bring that candidate forward.
Yeah,
Bring somebody
that's what we're
forward
gonna
that
do.
can get 49
All
states.
right.
All right, Congressman Fred Upton, thanks for joining us. Have fun at the teeth cleaning.
Yeah.
Tell the dentist we said hello.
Get the
No
snowblower running.
Phillies, look.
Maybe you'll hear us at the dentist, and we'll be talking about you again, and you'll be like,
Yeah.
"I'm right here."
Yeah. And if you don't,
They
turn the
usually have
radio.
that home improvement show on, so you're looking
Okay.
above, and there's a guy fixing the roof.
I think you go to my dentist.
Yeah.
All right.
All right,
Thank
Fred.
you.
Thank you so much. We'll have your Moody on the market update coming up here in just a minute.
Everybody loves a bargain. Say it. You love a bargain. I love a bargain. He loves a bargain. She loves a bargain. We all love a bargain, but we do also, unfortunately, tend to face what's called buyer's remorse when we find out that maybe that really awesome bargain turns out to be not such a great deal after all. And here's a prime example for you. You shop for an airline ticket, you find out it'll cost you, say, $400 to fly from Chicago, whether that's O'Hare or Midway, and you check to see what prices might be like in comparison to South Bend. Chances are at first blush you find the Chicago ticket to be cheaper, so you head off on your big adventure. But wait! You're going to have to leave at least an hour to an hour and a half earlier than if you were leaving from South Bend. And there's those tolls you have to pay all along the way. And if your flight's an early morning flight, you might even decide to get a hotel room near the airport to avoid driving in the middle of the night. And that escalated quickly. Adding in room night. And don't forget, there's the issue of parking your car in those expensive parking garages near the airport the entire time you're gone. And all of a sudden, that bargain increasingly turns into not all that great of a deal after all. It simply evaporates before your very eyes. Sometimes things can get pretty darn expensive when you add it all up. Don't forget, your time actually has value too. Add that in. Take a look at the trip cost calculator at flysbn.com, and it will suddenly dawn on you that affordable parking and ease of access and considerably fewer hassles and people to contend with will likely win out in the grand scheme of things. And that, my friends, is why I fly from SBN. South Bend International Airport is my airport. Is it yours?
News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM, along with Berrien Springs Public Schools and Cook Nuclear Plant, present Robotics Roundup. We'll talk with local teams, coaches, and mentors in our local community that are participating in FIRST Robotics. Hear the conversations on the morning show and check out the video and podcast at WSJM.com. Robotics Roundup, brought to you by Berrien Springs Public Schools, together inspiring students to think, learn, achieve, and care in a global community. Cook Nuclear Plant, explore careers at aep.com/careers, and 94.9 WSJM.
Hey, it's Fred Upton, and you're listening to The Morning Show with Jonny and Ken on 94.9 WSJM.
Look at that.
Huh? That's nice.
Perfect timing.
Look at
Just good times with Fred. Not good timing for Ken, though. He's still
Every time I tried to wrap it up, you were
watch
walking
is still
out,
broken.
going
Yeah.
to get the fries. We
Yeah,
had one of the
alarms
silence
going
alarms
off.
off.
There's all kinds of stuff going
Yeah.
on, and I'm like, I hate to stop in the middle of this good conversation, but I need to go fix that. So we ran a little long, but that's all right. No, great conversation with him. A lot of good stuff, and I look forward to maybe seeing him again soon, because that a lot of that no labels announcements and things like that sounds as though that might be coming pretty soon.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I
looking forward
mean,
to that.
again, they've always said if it's a Biden-Trump rematch, they will do their best to field a third-party candidate. They have to get on the ballots in the states, as many states as they can, and hopefully they would get on all 50. And the next thing that they would have to worry about is, does that third-party candidate have the money?
Right.
And it's going to take a lot, because I think we're easily going to see billions of dollars spent on this next one.
Yeah. Speaking of business and great things going on, there's always a lot of stories at moodyonthemarket.com, keeping you connected with what's going on in our community. We've also got the Moody on the Move series and our awards program you can check out while you're there. Your Moody on the Market update brought to you by Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today, your local auto owners agency with locations in St. Joseph and in Niles.
You ever watch the old Yankee Workshop?
I love the old Yankee Workshop.
Yeah.
This Old House.
Oh yeah, all those good shows. Those
Arthur, Wishbone,
those I don't see.
Wild Kratts. A lot of PBS Kids.
They're
a lot
all
of that stuff.
The PBS kids. They're all available on the PBS stations, and WNIT, the PBS station based in South Bend that serves Southwest Michigan, is celebrating its 50th anniversary.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You want me to try
Sure,
to
go
say
ahead.
this guy's last name?
I don't know what it is.
That's why he said, come on, why don't you take that one? Station President Greg. I'm going to go with Geechee.
That's interesting.
Geechee.
Okay.
Yeah. It may be totally wrong, but that's my go.
Okay.
Greg tells us a dedicated group of residents came together starting back in the late 1960s to launch the station. It took a few years of planning and fundraising, but WNIT television went on the air for the first time January 31st, 1974.
Wow. They say they were the first public television station in the area, in the region. And in fact, when the group of citizens that comprised people from Berrien County and St. Joe County in Indiana and Elkhart County and Kosciuszko County first started getting together and talking about it, the South Bend market was the largest television market in the country that was without a public television station. So WNIT now airs 24/7 on 5 program streams. General manager doesn't know what the very first broadcast was and says a fire some years ago destroyed all the old archives that they had that could have answered that question. He's hoping, though, that the 50th anniversary is celebrated all year long, and some local historians who might know what was the first broadcast could come forward.
Yeah, there might even be just somebody who's like, yeah, I watched blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I remember
1974.
that. Yeah, absolutely. So that whole article, including the name that neither of us can pronounce, is right there on
What was your guess?
I was going to say Geetsy.
Geetsy?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I feel like the C and the Z, depending on the origin, family origin. There.
Yeah. If it's Czechoslovakia, then it would be Geesy.
Geesy. Ooh.
Yeah.
I like your thought.
Should we
there.
do that? So that, if you're curious, is at moodyonthemarket.com.
Wonderful. Well, we look forward to talking to Greg in person and seeing which one of us got the last name right.
Exactly.
Your Moody on the Market update is brought to you by Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today, your local auto owners agency with locations in St. Joseph and in Niles.
We're watching over you. IMS Insurance Management Service.
All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with the live stream with us.
Yeah, I hope it was fun.
We'll get ourselves back on time here in a matter of
I'm
moments.
telling you, I had it wrapped up, and then you left the room.
I know.
I'm like, oh boy.
I know.
And I even said, you can look back at the stream. I said, well, Fred, Johnny left. That means we have more time.
got time for another question. I knew that was going to happen. I knew because the beeping was going on for more
And
than
it hasn't
long,
beeped in like 2 weeks.
I know, longer than I wanted it to, and it was getting. I don't even know if people on the listening on the radio could hear it, but I could hear it, and you could hear it, and I'm sure Fred was like, "Is this beeping going to stop? What's that beeping? Is everything okay?" And so I was like, all right, I gotta fix this. Yeah. So all I had to do was hit a button. I think I hit the right button, but then it started happening again.
But why is it turning off?
Who knows?
Okay.
I
know they were doing transmitter work.
Our engineer Terry works hard to make everything work, and I'm sure he was probably working on something, and the little beeper went off, and I don't know.
You can only wrap so many coat hangers around the transmitter tower.
Exactly. Yeah. I had hit snooze on the alarm.
Yeah.
All right. We've got a lot of things to get to. We'll plan our weekend with our friends from St. Joe today. We'll do that in here a little bit. So if you want to come hang out on the radio with us, you can.
And we still have 55 minutes for somebody to bring you donuts.
That's true.
Yeah.
You know, if Fred was listening, he said he was listening. He said, I'm sitting in my car right now. And he says he listens all the time. Why he didn't bring donuts, I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, he probably didn't want to because he's going to the dentist. He didn't want to be tempted.
I think that's it.
By the donuts, and it's totally understandable.
Yeah, because he's not doing coffee right now.
Because I would totally reach over, just not even thinking about it. I would just reach over, grab a donut, and be like, "Oh man, I got a dentist appointment. I'm all that work ruined."
I've done that.
All right, everybody, have a great day, and we will talk to you again here tomorrow.